Hey everyone, how are you all doing? Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Fantastic Four First Steps Johnny Storm, aka the Human Torch in his Flame On version. And this figure is awesome. The Johnny, I had the issues with his shoulders. This one, I had similar issues, but I did get a second copy of it and I switched out his shoulder. So this shoulder is actually this shoulder from another figure to make his shoulder's not stiff. So hopefully you guys don't have that same issue that I did, but that's okay because I actually was, I wanted two sets of these figures anyway, so it is what it is. And by having two of this Johnny, you get a lot more flame effects that I'm going to like put on his thighs and like his torso and arms to give him more flames instead of just it being on his hands, feet, and head. You know what I mean? So to give him more depth in terms of his powers. But as is, love this figure. So without further ado, let's just get into what Johnny comes with, because I mean, in terms of everything, like he's pretty much almost one-to-one other than the head sculpt and a couple things here and there for the regular suit Johnny. So as you can see on him right now, he has these flight hands, which look really good, which we've seen in like the posters and stuff like that. And these flame pieces actually do come off. So I actually have from my second copy over here what that looks like without the flame piece on there. And I'm actually going to take one of these and maybe cut it up or something like that and glue it onto the figure to give him more flame effects like I was saying before. But you can see the detail on the actual hands itself. And they're not glued or anything down. The fists are, but these aren't. They just slot over. There's like a thumb slot that the whole thing just slides into. So that's pretty cool. So you can do that if you want to. And like I just said, spoiler alert, he does come with a pair of fists, which these pretty much have the same detailing on them. These look really good. You can see the knuckle detailing and everything, and both hands have the back and forth hinges. But these look really good, and these are glued in. So these you can't really take off unless you want to, you know, jeopardize messing up the figure. But yeah. And then as for more accessories, I guess you could kind of call them that. So he has obviously the wristwatch on here thing for their alert bracelets, but these are actually separate. So if you wanted to, you could take these off. You just gotta pop the hand off, slide them off. And then if you wanted to, you could heat up the legs and take these off as well, because these are also separate pieces, which is kind of cool. The neck piece is not. It's actually pegged into and like slotted into the neck. So it does make his head just a little bit higher up, which does make him taller than the normal Johnny. But yeah, so that's kind of cool. So if you wanted to, you could take all of those pieces off. As for the detail, like I said, this pretty much is the exact same figure as the powered down Johnny, which I will bring in now. And the only difference being, you know, other than the head sculpts, is the fact that he's in the translucent orange color. So, which looks great. And they did put the black lines on here. I wish they were a little bit thicker because they're kind of hard to see on the torso and the face. The legs is where you can see them the most. He has them on the shoulders as well. But yeah, it would have been cool to maybe get a little bit deeper of lines. And this figure, oh, and then obviously, you know, the 4 is outlined, which looks really good. I love how that looks. But in terms of the detail and everything, and I'm wishing he had the deeper lines, it just makes me, I'm just clamoring for what I talked about. I think it was in the other Johnny's review. I just want a Kirby style Johnny where he's not translucent, where he's just orange plastic with red and yellow thrown on there, you know, as well. And the black lines, because that would just look so cool. I feel like that would stick out so well on the shelf and just pop and look awesome. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like the translucent, or do you want to see Johnny in more of a solid color? Because in the original comics, he wasn't see-through, you know, he wasn't translucent like how Sue is, you know. The articulation, he does differ from Johnny just a little bit, you know, in his powered down version, because he has the flame on the back and this is a different head sculpt. So he can get that far back, which is pretty good. And then if you use the torso, you can actually get him a lot farther back for flight poses, which is really good. So he can look down all the way as well, which is really good. His head can tilt a little bit, not very much though. His shoulders go out that far, rotate all the way around, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows that go up all the way. Both sets of hands have back and forth hinges, but they can also swivel. As for his torso, it is the diaphragm joint, so it can go that far forward, it can go that far back, rotate, swivel, also has the waist swivel. Legs go out all the way, which is just awesome. Can go that far forward and that far back. Thigh swivel. Double jointed knees that go up all the way. No boot swivel or anything, but his feet can go back that far, can go up that far, and of course, ankle pivot. Thankfully, these pieces do not hinder the articulation of the ankles at all because they're not fixed on there, so they just get right out of the way. And now onto some size comparisons. Here he is with the rest of the team, and these four look great together. I love how Johnny looks in the non-powered version, but getting to have everybody together, you can have them all using their powers. You can have Reed with his stretch, his stretching arms, and you can have Sue with her force field blocking those bullets, and then you can have Ben just clobbering, through everything. So that looks pretty cool. And then here he is next to the non-powered version of himself, and then Shala Ball Silver Surfer. And I love the way that Silver Surfer looks with this Johnny. I love the just juxtaposition between the two of them and how much the colors pop. And it's cool to get Johnny in his non-powered version because you could have, like, for a diorama, you could have, like, Johnny running and then have the Human Torch in front of him, so it looks like he's running and says flame on and just goes. So that'd be pretty cool. Here he is next to, hopefully, his future best friend in the SH Figure Arts red and blue suit, Tom Holland Spider-Man, and then the Mezco Reed from the Fantastic Four Deluxe box set. And I love how these look together. I really hope that at some point, like maybe, obviously not this upcoming Spider-Man movie, but maybe the one afterwards, after they kind of, like we get the street level stuff, but then, the Fantastic Four, they are cosmic, they are explorers, but they also do some street level stuff. And I feel like Johnny fits perfectly into Peter's world because that's just how it is in the comics. Like they are very close, and they overall, I love this figure. And the only reason, obviously not the only reason I love this figure, but the reason I love this figure more than the powered down Johnny, because I was able to get two shoulders that were loose, so I could swap them out and make this figure easier to mess around with and everything. And I was not unhappy about buying two of them, which I wasn't unhappy about buying two of the other one, but getting to buy two of this Johnny gave me a lot more flame effects that I'm going to, like I said, put on this figure to make his powers stand out a little bit more, have it be on his shoulders and on his torso and on his upper legs and stuff like that to give him more flame on effects. So, but yeah, I love the way that this figure looks. I do wish he would have been, well, actually, I think in the movie he might be translucent, because I think they've kind of tried to make that a thing, in the movies, and that is to make him like translucent when he's on fire, which kind of makes sense because he does turn into fire. But like I said before, in the original comics and stuff like that, that wasn't the case. He just was orange. So I hope we get a figure of that someday, but we'll see. That's a personal preference. Like I said, let me know down in the comments what you guys think about that. But the articulation that this guy has, it's pretty much on par with the other Johnny. Hindered a tiny bit because of the flame on his neck, but everything else in this figure is just awesome, and I could not be happier. So, yeah. If you guys are a fan of, Johnny, the Human Torch, if you have to pick just one, though, I personally would pick Human Torch, but that's also because I have the QSC issues that I had with the powered down Johnny. But if I didn't have those, I am a sucker for just the team suits, so I might actually lean more towards Johnny as opposed to Human Torch. So, dealer's choice, And if you can get both, get both. So, yeah, that's going to do it for me, and I will catch you all in the next one. See you.